àsìkò ti tó ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá o ló jẹ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ṣẹ́ni tí ó ń tọ́jú ìtò aṣíwájú mo wá sí ní gbogbo àgbáyé ọmọ Odùduwà kí ló wá dé o. ọmọ aláṣọ tó wá wá kísà ọmọ ẹlẹ́nu tó tún wá ń jẹ ẹ̀wọ̀n ọmọ onílé tó ń sùn tàbí ẹ̀rù àsìkò ti tó àwòfẹ́ mọ́ ẹja lọ́rọ̀ kan lẹ́nu káṣọ ń gbogbo papọ̀ ká má ṣe ra wa lọ́mọ ìyá Haúsá. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ọwọ́ èmi àti ẹ̀ṣà ló wà. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. àìrìnpọ̀ ọmọ ejò ló jẹ ejò níyà ló ń fi ikú pa wọ́n òbí o. tọ́ka bá ṣíwájú o tèrè tẹ̀lé ti paramọ́lẹ̀ tó tún bá tẹ̀lé. ọlọ́dẹ náà dá sáàdójú kọ wọ́n ẹ̀tẹ́ ló máa bá bọ̀. tọmọ Ọ̀yọ́ bá tẹ̀ lọ́mọ Ògùn tọmọ Oǹdó bá tẹ̀ lọ́mọ Èkìtì tọmọ Kogi àtọmọ Kwara tán bá fún ṣọ̀kan òkú ló máa dẹ̀rọ̀. gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ tà ní pátá tó jẹ́gbẹ́ Yorùbá ti bá ní máa dàgbọ́ ilé aṣù ilé àmọ́ tó dàpọ̀ gan tó jọ́pọ̀ Odùduwà torí oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ ó wà. òmìnira ló yẹ wá kó dẹ̀ máa tẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ bàbá ṣe ra wa lóṣooṣù ọwọ́. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá o ló jẹ́ wá lógún òwe ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá o ló jẹ́ wá lógún ṣàníjì lórúkọ tèmi òmìnira òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ́ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ọmọ Odùduwà pé Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ́ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ́ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ṣẹ́ni tí ó ń tọ́jú ìtò aṣíwájú la mọ̀ wá sí ní gbogbo àgbáyé ọmọ Odùduwà kí ló wá dé o. ọmọ aláṣọ tó wá wá kísà ọmọ ẹlẹ́nu tó tún wá ń jẹ ẹ̀wọ̀n ọmọ onílé tó ń sùn tàbí ẹ̀rù àsìkò ti tó àwòfẹ́ mọ́ ẹja lọ́rọ̀ kan lẹ́nu káṣọ ń gbogbo papọ̀ ká má ṣe ra wa lọ́mọ ìyá Haúsá. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ọwọ́ èmi àti ẹ̀ṣà ló wà. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó. àìrìnpọ̀ ọmọ ejò ló jẹ ejò níyà ló ń fi ikú pa wọ́n òbí o. tọ́ka bá ṣíwájú o tèrè tẹ̀lé ti paramọ́lẹ̀ tó tún bá tẹ̀lé. ọlọ́dẹ náà dá sáàdójú kọ wọ́n ẹ̀tẹ́ ló máa bá bọ̀. tọmọ Ọ̀yọ́ bá tẹ̀ lọ́mọ Ògùn tọmọ Oǹdó bá tẹ̀ lọ́mọ Èkìtì tọmọ Kogi àtọmọ Kwara tán bá fún ṣọ̀kan òkú ló máa dẹ̀rọ̀. gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ tà ní pátá tó jẹ́gbẹ́ Yorùbá ti bá ní máa dàgbọ́ ilé aṣù ilé àmọ́ tó dàpọ̀ gan tó jọ́pọ̀ Odùduwà torí oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ ó wà. òmìnira ló yẹ wá kó dẹ̀ máa tẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ bàbá ṣe ra wa lóṣooṣù ọwọ́. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá o ló jẹ́ wá lógún òwe. ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá òmìnira Yorùbá o ló jẹ́ wá lógún. ṣàníjì lórúkọ tèmi òmìnira òmìnira Yorùbá ló jẹ́ wá lógún àsìkò ti tó.
bọ́ sójú ẹ̀. Omoboriowo Media, ìkànnì tó kún fọ́pọ́ pẹ̀lú òye. Omoboriowo Media, àròjinlẹ̀ ìkànnì. Omoboriowo Media, tó ń ti gbáǹkọ́gbì ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń ta ní jí. Omoboriowo Media, fáwọn ètò àgbọ́fikọ́gbọ́n. Omoboriowo Media, ètò ọrọ̀ ajé. Omoboriowo Media, àṣà àti ìṣe Yorùbá pọ́nbélé. Omoboriowo Media, orin ilẹ̀ wa. Omoboriowo Media, eré ìgbàlódé. Omoboriowo Media, iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀. Omoboriowo Media, ètò ọ̀gbìn. Omoboriowo Media, àti eré ayò. Omoboriowo Media, bó sì lálẹ́. Omoboriowo Media, bó jẹ́ lọ́sàn-án. Omoboriowo Media, ìyálẹ̀ta tàbí nídàájí. Omoboriowo Media, àti ọmọdé àti àgbà tó bá ti jòyè. Gbogbo oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àti akọ̀wé, ọmọ ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ àti ọmọ ilé-ìwé tó fẹ́ mọ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáńlá ayé. Ẹ máa wo Omoboriowo Media. Omoboriowo Media, Omoboriowo Media. Ẹ máa wò ó, 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 ẹ máa wo Omoboriowo Media. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí tẹ́ ẹ bá ní nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ká bá yín polówó, ẹ lè kàn sí wa látòrí plus.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, viewers who are watching us from all over the world. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sí orí ètò wa fún tòní. Orúkọ tí Gbàdúrà Omoboriowo, òun náà ni èmi ń jẹ́ fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá wò wá fún ìgbà àkọ́kọ́. Màá fẹ́ rọ̀ yín pé kí ẹ bá wa subscribe sórí YouTube channel wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ bá àtúntò sábẹ̀ kẹlẹ̀ jẹ́ náà kọ́ tí ó máa rí àwọn ètò wa wò bí a ṣe mú wọn wá fún yín. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń wò wá ní orí ètò ní alẹ́ yìí, pátá òun náà ni àjọ máa ní ẹ̀tọ́ láti kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ kan tàbí omi lára ètò wa fún tòní. Today's program will be a different program entirely because we want you to discuss about the reason for Yoruba as exit. We all believe that we have the same mindset with Igbo, which is Biafra. And if you look at it very well, Yoruba is the largest ethnic group in the whole in African continent. And then we need to understand the reason why we are agitating, or the reason why we are campaigning for the exit of Yoruba nation. The part of the reason we are campaigning for the exit of Yoruba nation, we will discuss it today, and I believe every one of us we need to gain one or two things to understand the reason why it is very important for us to have our own nation. Please kindly help me share this program to all your contacts, to all your friends and family, so that they too they can join us on this program, and they too they can understand the reason why we are saying we want to have our own nation. Although people might say, why are we still campaigning for the Yoruba nation since a Yoruba man is a president? But my question is this: if Yoruba man finishes his own tenure, do we still have our own state to have a freedom of movement, the freedom of speech, the freedom of everything? We still need to have it. Now the Yoruba man is there. And do you compare the insecurity that is happening in the land? Do you compare the way the Fulanis are killing us? They still remain. The only way we can overcome this issue, the only way we can overcome overcome these strategies, the only way we can overcome this problem is to have our own nation. And to have our own nation, we all need to work together as one family. To have our own nation, we all need to put our hand in one basket and focus on one direction. And then for those who are campaigning for the Yoruba Heritage, we need to let them understand the reason why it is very important for a Yoruba man to reason that no, I have to have my own nation. I have to be, I have to have my own nation. How do we have our own nation if we don't have what we call an education, an educative program for those who believe that they still believe in one Nigeria? That is why today's topic is going to have its own way, in a different way. Like I said, we Yoruba are a nation with pride, root, and a proud history. We Yoruba, we are a nation with proud root and the proud history. We have the history that we can proud of, and we have the root that we came from. Every one of us have the root. So I will go through. There is a book Professor Banja Kintoye wrote, and they have about 100 topic for every Yoruba nation campaigner to stream about, and then to let people understand the reason why we need to have our own nation. Today, we will take it part one from the Yoruba exit, and then what we will discuss today. We will discuss about a Yoruba. What is me Yoruba? Why do we have a proud in everything? We have a proud from our own root. We have a proud from our own history because we have a wonderful history, and we don't want an Igbo man, we don't want an Hausa man, we don't want an TV man, we don't want a white man to tell us about our history. We should be able to tell us about our history. We should be able to know our history. We should be able to identify this is the history, this is our own history, this is where we came from, this is our own origin. We should be able to do that. So that's exactly what we are doing today. Please, I urge you to help me share this program to your friends and family. I'm sharing it now by myself. So please, you also can help me to do so, because by sharing this program, it shows that you really love me and that you really love this program I'm doing. At least this is the only way you can contribute to what I'm doing. I'm sharing this program. After the sharing, then we'll go to the root of the matter, and then we need to understand the major fact that we should have our own nation, as it is must, as we must. It is compulsory that we should have our own nation. It is compulsory. It is seriously compulsory that we must have our own nation. Now, let's go back to our topic of the today. The topic of today, we said we Yoruba are a nation with proud roots, and also with proud history. Now, let me take it from this book now. Now, we Yoruba are a nation with a proud root and a proud history. According to our very powerful ancient tradition, we Yoruba are the oldest people or the first of women in the world. Those traditional tell us that in the beginning of our time, in the beginning of our time, when all the surface of the earth were covered by the water, when the surface of the water, when all the surface was covered with water, the creator God, which is God, sent heavenly being to come down and establish life on the earth. Ọlọ́run rán àwọn èèyàn pé wá establish sílẹ̀ ayé ó rán wọn wá. Now, when they came, you understand, the heavenly being, descendant, bringing with the chicken. When it's talked about it, would bring them a chicken, a palm nut, and a small pot filled with a quality of heart. Their leader was Odudua. Their leader was Odudua. When they reached the surface of the water, they poured out the heart containing in the small pot, and it formed a small pieces of ground. Then they put the chicken on this ground, and the chicken went to work scattering the ground with the clay, and the ground spread and spread, and over the time, the ground was spread, become and the land become and it became a continent of the earth. The earth shows the palm nut in the ground and then germinated and it became the first plant in the whole world. As you can see, the ground, not the plant, it become the plant on the world. When we talk about the first plant, when we talk about the first plant on the world today, when we talk about the first plant, is plant that Odudua was planted during this own time. That is what we call palm nut. At that time, it was fall plant. The heavenly being themselves became the first woman. Odudua became the progenitor of the first people in the whole world, the Yoruba people, and therefore the propagator of a woman, propagator of a woman of all being. This little story or the little realm might make our children laugh. Although we might laugh and continue life, but the historian, it is sometimes very serious. Every important it shows that long ago our Yoruba our Yoruba ancestry was themselves as the first people in the whole world, and had no memory of any other or earlier woman before their Yoruba group. Have no any other memory of any other of woman group. They even enforced more details over time and had more strength to their creator. For instance, one hymn says that Yoruba descendant by a chain that making you Odua, can you Odua, Otenwaro, it comes with a chain that Odudua descendant by a chain, and that the chain is in Ileife, the spot where Odudua touched down. And every importantly, earlier Yoruba people enforced pattern of behave from the certain of their belief that Odudua, that Yoruba people were the first woman in the world. Behavior such as a goodwill toward all woman groups and hospitality to all foreigners in the 19th century. In the 19th century, in some part of the Yoruba homeland, especially in Ileife, especially in Ileife, some of the first European visitors were puzzling that our people received them as kingsmen who had been long gone and who have returned to visit the original home of their ancestry. Why we are pondering this fact of the Yoruba history, some modern scientists who are researching in a woman genetics history are now saying that the earliest woman DNA, the earliest woman of DNA in the whole world have been found in our Yoruba nation. And according to the evidence from archaeological, from archaeological and aligned research, we Yoruba, as one distinct cultural group, have been living in our present homeland since as far as back 8,000 years ago. The earliest woman bone fossils found in a cave near Akure. It was found in the facing of Akure in Yoruba land and dated of 6,000 BC. Tiwari, it was dated for 6,000 DC, which is almost equivalent to 8,000 years ago. It is the oldest human bone fossil found in West Africa since 800 years ago. We Yoruba have owned and held this homeland, and we have developed on it is from age to age the highest level of civilization in black African ancient of the Sahara. We have gone far when it comes to Yoruba land. When it comes to Yoruba, we are the first woman being on the earth. Along the line, long before the rest of the black African, we Yoruba begin to develop into an urbanized, into urban a people a people living with town and city. Our homeland was only urbanist and a part of Black African for many centuries. For what? For many centuries. We built our first town in 9th century AD. The first being the town of Ile Ife. That is the first town tí Yorùbá tí wọ́n build. Wọ́n dẹ̀ build the Ilé Ifẹ̀ yìí ní 9th century, which is 9th century AD. Kẹ́lẹ́wò, look at the time that Ilé Ifẹ̀ have been exist, and we built more and more in the following century. By the time of earliest European explorer came to the coast of West Africa in about 1470 AD, we already have a very many town and city all over the Yoruba land. Most of the world by the dated, and we are one of the most urbanist people in the world. Most of the Yoruba city, we are great work of engineering modern researcher who have done research on one of the city, the non city wall. Let us go to Ijebu Ode city wall. When we go to Ijebu Ode city wall, we have described it is one of the greatest man-made structure of the ancient world. This researcher had that in the times of the amount of the each and the rock that was moved in the construction of Ijebu Ode city wall and the great pyramid of Egypt. The Ijebu Ode wall was larger than the great pyramid, and also had that survival segment of the Ijebu Ode city wall and visible from the peace. Now let's continue on the history of the Yoruba. Our urban civilization was a product of our successful economic. The starting base of this successful economic was our agriculture, taking advantage of our fertile land. Our farmers raised more and more king of crops and produce increasing volume of a food. Many of them produced food for the urban market and became some of the richest men in society. The first European explorer into the interior of Yoruba homeland, the first European explorers into the interior of the Yoruba homeland in 1825 wrote that throughout their journey, they only saw a both side of their path extensive plantation of yam, corn, cotton, indigo, oil palm tree, and a coconut tree. And they concluded that Yoruba people were very industrial people. That is their conclusion, that Yoruba, we are very industrial people. If we are not, they will not say the Yoruba, we are very industrial people. This explorer added to the approach to many Yoruba towns was an imposing avenue of lordly tree that the Yoruba city and the town were clean habitation. Yakini what? Clean habitation. That people who usually rush out to the Yoruba city town and the village to see what white explorer were always claim address. And that Yoruba people were especially hospitable people everywhere. As you can see, we are reading the story of ourselves. We are reading the story that Yoruba are one of the most important. We are taking the story of Yoruba people, what we have done, what Yoruba have done in the past, in the year, how we become a first human being on the earth, what happened, what Oduduwa did. Let's continue, because we have a lot of story to tell our people that we as a Yoruba, the reason why we need to leave Nigeria, because we have a proud history, a proud root to talk about. For those who are watching this program for the first time, my name is Omoboriowo. Please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then please try as much as possible to share this program with your friend and family so you can be able to join us. Let's continue. Our homeland was a land of a great commercial. When we talk about our homeland, it's a land of a great commercial, of a great what? Great commercial. Most tradition trade only within the town, and in each town. Various sites of marketplace existed. Some of the largest marketplaces were famous throughout our country and even beyond our country. Our European trader wrote in about 1700. Àwọn kan ṣe kí ni o, European wọ́n tún kọ ọ̀rọ̀ ní 1700 that one Yoruba marketplace that he visited. Can you imagine? One Yoruba marketplace that he visited was at least first time the size the new market in Amsterdam. That's mean 4 times of there is a market called New Market in Amsterdam that Yoruba market táwọn dé yìí o, ó tóbi ní ọ̀nà mẹ́rin gẹ́gẹ́ bí tó tún ju New Market wọ́n pè ní Amsterdam lọ, that not less than 6,000 traders were trading in that morning, and that it was great. It was what? It was greatly impressed by the ordinariness and the privileges in it. From a long distance away, wrote some explorer, and a noise from a large Yoruba place market on a market day was like the roaring of the great sea. Ẹ̀rí tó bá pé bí omi ṣe máa ń rí, ó ní ariwo tó ń gbọ́ ń bẹ̀. Many marketplace over nighttime trading. Wọ́n tún máa ń nájà alẹ́, ó wà lóòótọ́, ọjà alẹ́ wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ló pọ̀ jù. We have night market in Yorùbá land. Ọjà alẹ́ pọ̀ jù láwọn ọjà tamana, ó pọ̀ gan nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn history tó ti ń parun dẹ̀, òun la tún tà láti máa gbé padà báyìí. Wọ́n máa ń ní ṣe kí ni night market. This communion means that 3-day time trading closed at about 6 p.m. and the nighttime trading started at about 9 p.m. The 1825. In 1825, I repeat, in 1825, I think we need to make something. Tí a bá ń wo ìran Yorùbá, a rí wípé ìran Yorùbá, ìran tó dáa òní wá, ìran tó dáa lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo wa pátápátá a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ibi tí a ti ṣẹ̀ wá, a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ìdí tá a ṣe ṣẹ̀ wá, a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ wípé ìran Yorùbá, ìran wa, ìran tó dáa ni. Torí pé tí a ò bá jẹ́ kí a mọ̀ pé ìran tó dáa ni, kì í ṣe ní tó dáa. Now, the question was said, in 1825 to 1826, explorer wrote that when one approaching a nighttime market from a distance, it was as if one was approaching a sea of stars, because the traders highlighted small oil lamp. Can you imagine? I don't know if we all remember what to call a small oil lamp. Iná tí a máa ń tàn, àtùpà tá a máa ń tàn pẹ̀lú epo pupa. I don't know if one of you have seen it before when you are a child. I don't know if you have come across it before from your old grandmother, from your old grandfather. Wọ́n máa ń pè ní àtùpà alẹ́. Can you imagine? We Yoruba will have a fantastic story. We Yoruba will have a fantastic history, a proud history that we need to proud for, that we need to proud wherever we find ourselves. But we are not even ready to know exactly where are we come, what is our root of our problem, what is our history. But today, it is good that we know much of our treaty. I give kudos to Professor Banji Akintoye to gather all this history for us to be broadcast live to our people. Now, according to what the European explorer was saying, he said there is a small oil lamp to illuminate the goods they are selling wọ́n máa gbé síwájú ọjà báyìí ni á dẹ̀ sọ ọjà kí ni ọjà tí wọ́n ń tà. Then tá a bá tún wò in 1925 to 1926, explorer also wrote again and again that the road connected to Yoruba town were generally well kept and were often as level as blowing green. That very stretch of the road through each kingdom and was very well gathered by the official of the king. And the traders and other travelers kept all their goods busy and busy the day and the night, and then nothing will happen to their goods. They will keep their goods there many months, many days. Nobody will touch their good. No thief, nobody will touch their good wherever they buy and keep it. An African explorer, William Clegg, who traveled extremely in Yoruba land in the earlier 1950, in the earlier 1850, wrote as follows that the nature and the volume of the trade in the Yoruba in those years, the trade in native products and art kept up continual intercommunication between the several adjacent towns, the one interchanging it is abundance of the one article of that of another, though on those small routes can be seen caravans of a fittings passing almost daily from one town to another, acting as it is greater revival of a trade, one large route, a network of a trade carrying to a distance from hundreds of miles. Hundreds and thousands of people were though engaged in the carrying trading. Not frequently the article from the Mediterranean and the Western European coast may be seen a closer promised and the produce of the four quarters of the globe within the circumferences to be seen in a close approximate and the produce of the four quarters of a global within the circumference, whose diameter may be mentioned by a few years when several canavings and the throwing together a correct idea of the extent of the trade may be found in the imposing number that stretch over several miles in length. Over several miles in length ní gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ni wọ́n máa ń rìn sí nígbà náà tí wọ́n á lọ, and they were not even afraid. We walk in the day night, we walk in the night, we walk in the midnight. I can even tell you that I remember there is a town called Osun, Epe, Ira in I think it's it's Ogun State. I forgot. I think Ogun State. Ilẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú side ni wọ́n pẹ̀lú yẹn ní Osun, Epe, Ira. Ibẹ̀ láti máa ń ra láfún nígbà náà. Ibẹ̀ làwa ti máa ń ra láfún. And then a máa ń yí táyà kẹ̀kẹ́ báyìí ní òru lọ sí the next village láti lọ ra láfún nígbà náà. And then nothing will happen. No Fulani killing. Everywhere was peaceful. Kò sí bẹ̀rù. Kì í bẹ̀rù rárá pé bẹ́ẹ̀ Fulani fẹ́ pa wá. Kì í bẹ̀rù rárá àtọ̀. Kì í bẹ̀rù. Everywhere was peaceful. We are moving from one place to another. In the midnight, we are moving. In the night, we are moving. A Yoruba town was so peaceful at that time. A Yoruba town, everyone can move anytime you like. Not this time around. Not this time around. That when you move, you have to look your back. Even though when you are moving alone, you have to be watching your back because something might happen which it might even cut your life short. Let's continue with Yoruba history. The today's topic we are taking is Yoruba exit, and then we Yoruba were a nation with proud root and proud history. We are talking about our roots and then also about our history. Most of our biggest trader were women, often specializing in a long distance trading. Wọ́n máa ń travel from àwọn Yorùbá, àwọn máa ń travel far from the town. Ẹlòmíì lè gbé láti Ìbàdàn kó ló ń lọ sí ọjà kan nífẹ̀ẹ́ tí wọ́n máa ń ná every week. Ẹlòmíì lè gbé láti nífẹ̀ẹ́ kó ló ń lọ sí ọjà kan ní Oǹdó tí tí wọ́n máa ń ná every week. Àwọn ọjà yẹn wà bí wọ́n ṣe máa ń ná wọn, àwọn ọjà ọba every week, ọjà kan wà Ifẹ̀ every Thursday ni wọ́n máa ń ná, ìkan wà l'Óṣogbo, ó wà káàkiri bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Àwọn ìyá wa máa ń travel lọ sí inú àwọn ọjà yìí láti lọ ná àwọn ọjà yìí. They can go far distance. Àwọn míì Òtìrìpó, Sìkàndá, Kìsì, Mọ́kúá, Yemẹtu, gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, they can travel as far as distance they can do. And then either taking trade to a distant part of the Yoruba homeland or to the far foreign land. Those making trade to the far foreign country took Yoruba product to most part of the Black Africa, to all points of the Western African coast, to interior West African country, as far as Hausa land beyond the river Niger. Àwọn ìyàwó tó máa ń travel as far as Hausa land beyond the river Niger. Westward as far as modern Mali and Mauritania, eastern world, to the country of the Kanuri in the Lake Chad, the country that is now Sudan and the South Sudan, and the country of the Congo Valley, in this distant foreign country. Some Yoruba products, especially colorful Yoruba cotton cloth and the Yoruba bead, we are popularly specialized, and we are widely first, where European trade developed along to the West African coast from the 15th century. In the 15th century, many of the European traders did a profitable trade. Wọ́n ṣe kí ni o, wọ́n ṣe iṣẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó yẹ pé wọ́n generate, àwọn gan rí owó, wọ́n rí ọrọ̀ yẹn wá fún wọn, wọ́n rí àwọn ọrọ̀ yẹn. Trade in buying some of the Yoruba products, especially colorful Yoruba cloth as well as braid, on the Yoruba quest, and making them for a sale in other parts of the coast. In many of the foreign countries, Yoruba trader established Yoruba trading colonies. Now, wọ́n láti lọ establish in terms of sí Yoruba trader colony, and some of these have existed till modern time. Àwọn kan wọ̀nyí wọ́n sì wà even till modern time. Don't forget, we are discussing about Yoruba nation, and the Yoruba, we are a nation with pride, we are a nation with proud root and a proud history. I proud about my root, and also I proud about my history. You also, do you proud about your history? Do you proud about your root? Along most of the Western coast, Yoruba language were language of a trade. A French Roman Catholic priest, Father Colombin, we're talking about a French Roman Catholic, Father Colombin, who visited most of the West African coast in 1636. That is what a man who have visited several Africa in 1636 to 1640 wrote, that the Yoruba language was a language of a trade everywhere along the coast, now along the coast, and that, in fact, the people of those countries used the Yoruba language in the same way that the people of Europe in his time used the Latin language. Can you imagine a man which is what we call Catholic priest describe a Yoruba language as one of the official language, that Yoruba used their own language to communicate at that time, as the people who are in Europe use a Latin language? Are we still bold enough to use that language today? Ask yourself, do you bold to use that Yoruba language to teach your children? Do you boast to use that Yoruba language to communicate with your children at home? Do you boast to use that Yoruba language to communicate with your friends and family? Today, are we doing that? No. We all have lost that identity. We all have lost that identity. We really lost that identity to believe that we are Yoruba. We lost that identity for us to know that our own language is one of the most powerful and most respected language over. That is why when I go back to the history of 1835, which was wrote by Lord Macaulay, who said, I have traveled across the length of Africa. I have never seen anyone who is a beggar or thief of such wealth that I saw in that nation. Oh, now, he now advised the British Parliament that I don't believe we will be able to conquer this nation unless, unless what? Unless we change our old and ancient educational system, their culture and their language. And he said, if African if African believe that all that is foreign and English are greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem. Now today, we all lose the self-esteem to speak to our children in our modern tongue. We all lose that self-esteem to communicate with our children, to communicate with our family with our own dialect language. We all lose that esteem to let people understand, to let people know that we are Yoruba. Even though some even tell you Yoruba is Yoruba language is vernacular. Even though in our school today, in public school today, in private school today, the teacher or the rules of that school is that you don't allow to speak Yoruba. When you speak Yoruba, they will fine you or they beat you. The only what they will expect is to speak a foreign language. Why are we using foreign language to train our children? Why are we using a foreign language to communicate with our family? Why are we using a foreign language to do everything that is pertaining to our life? Why are we using a foreign language to let our people understand that no, until when you speak a foreign language before you know how to speak a language, even if you don't speak it well, if you don't know how to speak, it is we Yoruba that we know. Eléyìí, this man cannot even, he doesn't even understand English language. Look at the way he speaks language. He was using present and past together. Oh my God. Look at those who are multimillionaire today. Look at those who are rich today. They don't understand English. The richest country in the whole world today, which is China, they don't understand English. We work with them very well. They don't even know what is English all about. Each country, each continent, they speak their own language. When you go to Chinese, they speak their own language. When you go to Germany, they speak Germany. Why are we emulate a slavery language to build our own future, to build our children's future, to build our family future? Why are we also establish our life, our property, our entire life over slavery language? We need to think. We need to rethink very well. We need to change our way, the way we are watching our language to be perished. And I believe Yoruba language will not perish in the name of Almighty Olodumare. Now let us continue with the history. Don't forget what we are discussing today. It is we Yoruba are a nation with proud root and a proud history. We are discussing about our history today. Tomorrow we'll see discuss about it. This old system of a government, we are governed by the two fundamental principles. The first of the sort of this was the principle of sovereignty of the people, and the principle of power belong to the people. Though we Yoruba rejected the universal practice whereby the king were succeeded and automatic by their biological children, and whereby the citizen have no rule in the selection of their king, and they choose instead a system whereby the subject select their king from among the kings, among the members of the royal lineage. We Yoruba people love to say proudly that we ourselves select our rulers. Also, as a part of the principle of the Yoruba sovereignty, the system gave serious respect and influence to the people association, such as the eighth grade association and the professional or trader association, like market woman association, Hunter Association of Leadership and Governance. Finally, was part of the principle of a people sovereignty, that is, every person, young or old, was guaranteed freedom to speak in the affairs of his community, wisdom to contribute. That is our role of our beginning. The second principle government that okay, the second principle government, the old political system, in the principle that all our Yoruba kings and the royal lineage are descendants of the same ancestor from the principal spring, a large array of a belief practice, dynastic relationship, ritual, and art form, all them assistant and the assist to the origin of the of our king from the same ancestry family. The oneness of our kingdom, the oneness of our kingdom and the community of the Yoruba nation as one nation, a Yoruba king. A what? A Yoruba king. We continue. We will finish this part and then we will move to another part tomorrow. Or if you cannot finish, we can make it as part two. Let's see, because this is a very interesting program that we both need to understand the reason why it is very important for us to have our own nation. Let me just go through more. At least we'll finish it very soon. Now let's go to how the king will rule in those days. Particularly, the kingdom might be small, but it regain and the blowing in the unbroken consciousness of the greatness of the Yoruba family of a king and a kingdom from the 16th to the 19th century. From the what? From the 16th to the 19th century. One of our kingdoms, the Oyoile kingdom. You can remember, we talk about Oyole kingdom. It is not Oyo that we are talking about now. Oyole kingdom, it is in between the Ilorin and Jeba side. Now we'll go back to that. We are talking about Oyole kingdom occupying the northern west part of our northern western part of our nation homeland, struck out and built an empire covering part of the Yoruba land and the other large territory of the many non-Yoruba people, up to the territory that are now Benin and Togo Republic, even though including largest and Benin and what and to the Togo Republic, the largest empire in the history of the West African forest land. The Oyo Empire was similar to the Australia Empire, in which the Germany state of Australia built an empire consisting of a Germany and a North Germany, Yellow Germany terrorists and people. When European Christian missionary brought Western education in Africa in the mid of 19th century, we Yoruba adopted the more strong than other parts of a black African school, quickly sprang up to the most Yoruba town. By the last year of the 1850, we are already producing university graduates and highly educated professional lawyers, doctor, engineering, accountant, surveyor, teacher, writer, etc. The first newspaper in Black Africa was established. Can you imagine? When I ask you, Yoruba have a proud history. Now look at it. The first, when I've said we Yoruba, we have a proud history. We have the history that lets you understand where we are from. We have the history that lets you understand that a Yoruba, according to the story, when they bring the education to us, it was faster spread to all Yoruba land. Now, before the 19th century, we have a lot of doctor, lawyer, and others. And then the first newspaper, as you can see, the first newspaper which was produced in Nigeria. We have lawyer. The first newspaper in Black Africa was established in our city of Abeokuta. The first newspaper we were established in the city of Abeokuta in 1859. In war in 1859, and the others soon follow to our city. At the amalgamation of the Nigerian in 1914, we are very much ahead of the rest of Nigerian education. The fourth school did not come to most of the rest of Nigeria until 1920. Look at it, Nigeria. Look at it in Yoruba. We have a very proud history. We have proud roots. We have proud in everything. But let us proud of ourselves. Let us proud of our religion. Let us proud of our. We are Yoruba first before any other religion. We are Yoruba first before any other person. We should thank God that I proud to be a Yoruba man. I will still continue to be proud to be a Yoruba man. As you can see, the first black newspaper was established in Abeokuta in 1859. 1859. And also, even though before the education was spread to the other part of Europe, other part of Nigeria, it was around 1920. We have already have a doctor, we have lawyer, we have engineering, we have teacher, and so on and so forth. By which time, many Yoruba family we are already producing their third generation of the university graduate. Nígbà tí àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ Haúsá, tí wọ́n jẹ́ Igbo, tí ẹ̀kọ́ fi máa dé ọ̀dọ̀ wọn ní 1920, àwa Yorùbá ti ń produce àwọn third generation wa as a university. A ti ń produce third generation as a university graduate, third generation. No other Nigerian nation, I repeat, no other Nigerian nation produced their first university graduate until the mid of 1930. Either we are from Hausa, either you are from Igbo, either you are from Tifi, either you are from Kutu, either you are from Panku, either whatever you are from. So far you are Nigeria. These people have never produced any graduate until 1930, when the Yoruba have produced the second generation of the university graduate, third generation rather, third generation of university graduate. That can use it is very it's an interesting program. In the course of the 1950, with Nigerian then structure as a federation of the three religions, Eastern, Western, Northern, and Western religion, each vested their limited self-government. We Yoruba immediately took our Western region far above and beyond the other two regions in all aspects of development. We've gone far. Awolowo is gone far in other development. First of all, building of a new road and highway, provision for the urban water supplier, advancement in our agriculture and agriculture export, establishment of a skill development institution of a youth, first industrial estate and the resident estate in Africa, first television station in Africa, first free education program in Africa, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, etc. The free education prove every revolutionary. It raised us Yoruba people above the rest of the Nigeria, and on an unofficial statistic commonly calculating in the 1970 had it that though we Yoruba were about 24% of Nigerian population, we Yoruba were 52% of all of the Yoruba holders of university graduates, and 70% of all Nigerian holders of high degree, such as master and a doctor degree. Politically, our Western religion developed, and the most democratic system of the government and the policy, and the most professionally competent civil servant in Nigeria. Our Western region occasionally gave loan. We used to give loan at that time. We gave loan and even grant to the Nigerian federal government. Altogether, we Yoruba gradually display our inherent strength as a nation of civilization, builders, and we were proud to go higher and higher in the world. Those that is story that we Yoruba are a nation with proud roots and a proud history. We discuss about the history and the root, how the Yoruba became the first woman being on the earth. We all need to understand that we have a very proud history to have our own nation. And I believe we will surely have our own nation. For those who are watching us today, thank you so much. This is where we'll draw the curtain of today's program, and I will continue tomorrow if it's God will. What we'll discuss about today, it is we Yoruba are a nation with proud root and a proud history. Ó yẹ kí èmi àti yín kájọ mọ history wa ṣe pàtàkì. A gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ torí pé ibi tá a ti wá, ibi tá a ti ṣẹ̀ wá nìyẹn. Eléyìí ni ó jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé ìran Yorùbá, we really need to have our own nation as Yoruba. And then we cannot have it without your support, without our courage, without supporting ourselves. We really need our own nation. And that is only way we can overcome those challenges that we are facing today. Thank you so much for joining on this program. Till we meet again, I say bye for you now. My name is Omoboriowo. Thank you so much. May God bless you. May God be with you. May God be with every one of us. Bye bye for now. And we see you the next time. Goodbye for now.